Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Wednesday night segment of The Outer Realm. We are broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network, 105.3 FM from the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM from New Orleans. We are fully sponsored by the amazing people over at Folgers Coffee who have been a part of this journey for at least 7 years. So thank you, Folgers. Definitely could not do it without you, nor would I want to. Also, big shout out and thank you to Steve McGinnis, the artist behind the logos. Here at the show, check him out on Facebook and Instagram, specializes in the Halloween and horror genre, and does amazing commission pieces of any type. So whichever platform you're on tonight, I believe out of the 8, Roku does not have a chat room, but we have 7 others. We can see your comments on Facebook. There's 2 of those. There's 3 different YouTubes. There's X, there's Rumble, and all of your comments come to the soundboard. Don't be shy. And please like, subscribe, share, and most of all, comment. I do respond back. It might take me a little bit, but I do respond back, and I do appreciate hearing from you. So tonight's going to be a whole lot of fun. I welcome back Jonathan Agosto. We always have so much fun when he's on. Anyway, we're going to be talking about the unwanted guests, the cost of paranormal attachments, and surviving a malevolent haunting. We begin with recognizing and identifying the mechanics of malevolent or spiritual attachments, breaking that bond, dealing with various aspects of a haunting. So we're going to discuss the steps even to taking back your space in spiritual sovereignty and outing yourself, or putting yourself back rather, in control. It's a lot easier than you think, believe it or not. And we're going to talk about all of that. So, oh, sorry, Wayne. Hello. The show did not start automatically, once again rebooted. Oh boy, sorry, but hello and welcome. I'm seeing your messages now. And hello, Patsy. Hello, nice to see you. So I know we're waiting for people to chime in, but until then, please join me in welcoming my special guest, Jonathan Agosto. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm well. How about you?
Good. Welcome back.
It's good to be back.
Thank you. You're almost like becoming a frequent flyer. I feel like I got to give you points or something.
Hey, I love coming on. What can I say?
Well, thank you. Thank you. And it's funny because, we first decided to do the show. Hi, Heidi.
Hi.
Because you were commenting or you had a post on something. I'm like, we need to talk about this show, this topic, because this is a great topic. And we're getting into the time of year, the autumn. And we're getting into, spooky seasons coming up soon. And this is the time, I think, where people more often than not tend to unknowingly or sometimes knowingly put themselves into, a bad space, because they want to go out and explore different.
Well, that pumpkin spice latte, inside of graveyard dirt. So.
Yeah, this is a bit of everything, the haunted pumpkin spice. I don't know, but people go on tours. I used to do really large events. A couple hundred people a night, and some. I've done tours and I've hosted many different things. And I used to like to try to prepare people who would come on any of my events to be able to be protected and just know what the do's and don'ts were, not just kind of showing up somewhere and throwing all these innocent people, these families into harm's way. I really did try to make sure everybody's well aware of what to expect. And it is a time of year where I get the most messages about having, things come in. Something followed me home, or I think, I walked into something, or someone came over and maybe they walked into something. So it's not always you moving into a space. You could be living in a space, yourself. I've been in my house for 10 years. Oh, wait, I have an unwanted guest that's just sort of popped in. And sometimes they're friendly, but many times they're not. So where I thought we would start, essentially, is attachments and malevolent, surviving the malevolent haunting and the unwanted guest. So, where do you want to start with this? Since you're the
Oh, we
guest.
could start. We could start from the beginning. I mean, we could start with the simplest ones. I mean, the spiritual larvae.
Mm-hmm.
Ethereal larvae. They essentially have they have the intelligence of essentially that of a of a of animal intelligence,
Mm-hmm.
but they are no less insidious. I mean, because they feed off you, and they take they feed off your energy.
Yeah.
And they can attach themselves to you. They can attach themselves to something in your house. They can attach
Mm-hmm.
yourself to the energy in your house. I mean, they can
Mm-hmm.
they could attach themselves to something that's in your house,
Yes.
or just you could have a dirty environment where there's
Clutter.
clutter. There could be there could be a lot of anger in the air, and just
Mm-hmm.
unease, and ethereally, and just as physically, it kind of it'd make your home kind of an armed camp with tensions high in the air. And to that, as I was saying earlier, it's a buffet for them, and
It is.
they'll bring all their friends,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. That's the part, I think, depending on what it is that has made its way into your space. It usually is more than one. It's not just one.
yeah, it can be one. It's and it's not always one. It could be several. I mean, it could be tons of. It could be quite a number of them. Uh,
Yeah.
all depending on the level of malevolence, or the level of depression, or just the level of darkness that
Yeah.
is in that space, or is
Mm.
going on in your life. I mean, because
Yeah.
maybe
That's a
it's something at work, and you're bringing it home with you.
Yeah. Bringing your work home with you. See, for me, that used to be accurate, because something would happen in the house after I had been at a location that was really active and not all I very seldomly would work anywhere like that was not malevolent. That was my area of work. And I would often just have family members say, "Stop bringing your work home." I don't do it on purpose, people.
Well,
It's
nobody does
never
it on
the plan.
purpose. It's just
Yeah.
like you could be working in an environment that has a lot of
Mhm.
stress in it, or
Mhm.
there's a lot of things going on at your work environment. I
Yes.
mean, it's
Yes. And it could be things like, see, here's just where we get that double-edged sword, the old chicken or the egg story. You have people who suffer from depression or anxiety, or maybe they've lost someone in their lives and they're grieving and they just desperately want a sign from their loved one. And there's always something else waiting to mimic or pretend to be that loved one to get that shoe in. So you're dealing with addictions, perhaps, whether it be
that's a
alcoholism or
big one.
drugs or prescriptions or yeah, I mean, there could be anything that takes you into a bit of a dark space.
Right.
Um,
Ozzy Osbourne did a song on it, "The Demon Alcohol."
so there we go. There we go. So these things all factor in. I think anything that takes you into a dark place or takes you off your game. Um, so what came first? Because if you're looking at malevolent entities, they do come in and they can create this negative space and push you towards all of these things, different addictions or depressions or anxiety. Whereas even if you're suffering from it, they will amplify that. But some people I've worked with and have assisted over the years have said, no, we had like a perfect family. Like we had, I mean, I'll name was one family in specific. You know, they had, the $1 million family, as they say, the son, the daughter, a business, big house, boat, cottage, cars, all of this stuff. And all of a sudden, the wife's mother dies. She starts grieving. she decides she wants to try to make contact with a pendulum because her mother used to use a pendulum. But clearly her mother may have known how, and doesn't mean that the daughter just picked it up. And literally within like a few hours, a couple of days, all hell broke loose, pardon the pun. And this woman went from working out every single day, being fit as a fiddle, to developing a smoking habit of chain smoking, not even finishing. They don't let you eat. They don't let you sleep. She was down to about 90 pounds, doing a lot of really strange and erratic things. Would try to bring in her parish priest to just bless the house. But yet when he'd come in, she'd never let him in. And I always go like, maybe it's psychosis. The obvious psychosis. And I always ask for medical assessments or, psychological assessments and permission from the doctor or, the psychologist, psychiatrist to work with the individual, which I always get as long as you're not, say, do not let him go off the medication. But when the medication doesn't work at all, and they change it and it doesn't work, and they change it and it doesn't work, then you have to start thinking perhaps it's something else.
Definitely, of course. I mean, and the catalyst there was, her mother died, and
yes.
and that alone, the slew of mixed emotions that are, sad,
yes.
or dark, all comes into play, and that alone has a huge, effect. I don't care who you are. That's going to have an effect on you. I mean, you could have had an awful relationship with with your mother or your father or whoever it was, but still, there's still going to be that emotion of they're gone, and there's going to be that sadness and the depression that steps in, and once that comes into play, and then she starts playing, with pendulums and all that, and like anything else, it's a tool. If used properly, it can be a wonderful, it can be a wonderful and very useful, device.
Yes.
But if improperly, once again, it's like parking your car in Times Square and opening the door and letting and taking off with whoever comes in.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. That falls into, the grieving process of wanting and asking for signs. Well, you can get signs for sure. I mean, that's a big one.
Yeah, and then that's where the whole spiritualism movement came from, especially in the within the Civil War. You had thousands of people dying on both sides, and you had grieving families, wanting once again, to have contact, with their lost loved one, their lost father, their lost son, their lost brother. I mean, and then here comes Ouija boards, here comes pendulums, here comes seances. Seances was a big one, and
so what's your thought on that? Like the tool, like do you think it's the tool, the intention? Like what, because I mean, boards, communication devices get a lot of bad raps, but you can do that with a phone app now. You can do that with a voice, like just with a tape recorder or digital recorder, asking for communication, reaching out, ghost boxes, most equipment, flash the flashlight on and off, like it really, you're looking at all of these devices as tools.
And my personal stance on it, I mean, I don't take a lot of stock in the electronic devices because they're electronic, and they can be picking up signals from wherever. I mean, they can even be picking up signals from themselves. Like the battery pack, like it could be emitting a signal. I mean, I'm not going to besmirch anybody who chooses to use them because they do get results,
but they're tools.
But they're tools. I mean,
but is it the intention of that invitation to communicate? I mean, does it really matter what you're using?
To me personally, it does, because like with analog devices, like such as like a Ouija board, or a pendulum, or doing a seance or something like that, or even lighting a candle in the room and invoking and trying to evoke a spirit in front of a mirror. I mean,
like
there's no
scrying.
electronics, there's no signals behind it. It's you, it's your intention, and it's what you are, and it's the feeling, and it's the feeling and the emotion, the belief that you're putting into it, that I believe opens the doorway, so to speak. I mean, like I said, I'm not going to besmirch or anybody who uses electronic devices. Like I said, they do have their uses, but I also think that I think it takes away essentially that personal touch to it, that personal emotion that goes into it, because you're just waving a device around there like, oh, I hope I pick up a signal. Well, that's great, but where's the feeling, tension behind it? I mean, where's the emotion? I mean, where's that? I mean, you're hoping to get a signal so you can get so you can get some views on your channel. I mean, you're trying to.
I think it depends. Like I'm a bit of a different mind with it. Not with everything, obviously, because phone apps I get funky with because it's a phone app. However, I'll tell you, I had an experience that happened where I came home from work one day. Remember the old answering machines with the tape?
Yes, I do. I used to have one.
Right? Right? Same. And I mean, I even prefer doing EVPs, voice recordings, with the old analog cassettes, and not on both sides, because things can bleed through, just being really careful
with the cassette. Yeah.
Exactly. Anyway, I came home to a message from a friend of mine who had been deceased probably a couple of weeks. And we had always had an agreement. Whichever one of us passed first would come and leave a message for the other. And she goes, well, I'm older, so it'll probably be me. And I would just laugh. Anyway, she did end up passing. And I came home to her voice on the old analog tapes. And spirits are said to be able to ride the waves, radio waves. And I've seen it. I've seen it happen. And this was a bit of a validation for that, because in the background, she went through this message channel through about 4 beeps, beep, beep. And so that was in between. But in the background, I could hear very faint radio, very, very faint. And it was her voice, 100%. And the cats, just sat there, and they knew. She used to come over and play with them, and she would make them special, fresh meat and cook it up and bring it to them. So they're very bonded to her, and they just sat there, and they were totally glued to that machine when that thing came, when I played it. Like, they knew it was her instinctively, and that it wasn't anything else. And of course, being a medium, I didn't sense it was anything else either at the time, but I kept that recording, and it's not been debunked as far as anything else. I think you could debunk it once it goes to the computer, like digitally. But at the time, I mean, this was
that's
like,
what I mean right there too. It's people going into and I wasn't talking about the answering machines or like that. Talking about the people that were they're going into a house, they're going into a place, and they're hoping to hear something. That's what they want. And so they'll put an app on their phone, and I used to have an app like that on my phone, and I thought it was the funniest thing. But and I had it for about 3 days, and then I got bored with it. But
the apps get a bit funky. There are some things worth, I think the world of spirit research and communication has expanded quite a bit. You can go back into times where, for example, I'll go back to Nikola Tesla, who had his version of the telephone to the dead, much like Edison did. Edison did his afterwards.
He was working on spirit phone, and Tesla had the spirit radio. Yeah, they are, and I've I've
Mhm.
heard the results that come out of the spirit radio that Tesla worked on.
Yeah.
Edison was working on the spirit phone. I think it was, if I remember the story correctly, because he was a big believer in the afterlife, as was
Mhm.
Tesla. But
Mhm.
they weren't necessarily religious. I mean,
Yeah.
Tesla wasn't, and I don't know if Edison was or not, but
Yeah.
they may not believed in, they may not have been religious, but they believed in the spirit world, in the afterlife.
Yes.
And Tesla, yeah, he had his thing. Yeah, but Edison
Well,
had
he
a
had
spirit
his
phone.
first.
Yes, he had his first. Well, he had a lot of things
Yeah,
first.
and even Marconi.
And
Even
that's a whole other
Marconi.
program right there. So,
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
and
even Marconi.
yeah,
But but I mean, realistically, Tesla swore he called them Martians. So
yeah,
he said it was something that wasn't right. As far as what happened to it, what happened to the spirit phone, it's in the museum. Edison's is in the museum. I don't know what happened to Tesla's, but we fast forward into modern times and to with Frank Sumption, and who I had the pleasure of getting to know before he passed away. And thanks to a friend of mine. Actually, I have an original Frank's box. And Frank used to send me all kinds. He sent me a boatload of his recordings that I still have. And he said, "Isn't it interesting?" He goes, "Everybody thinks I built it to talk to ghosts." He goes, "I built it to talk to aliens." But it was amazing the information that he got. The recordings were amazing. So before I got a Frank's box, I had the same idea, just AM one built for me, but little more high tech, so I could fine tune it manually and things like that. And the things I used to get were just mind blowing. I mean, completely legitimate, um, incredible, incredible answers. Like saying, like, who am I speaking with? We are you, you are us, we are one. I don't speak that way. I sure in heck didn't put that out there.
yeah,
See, with
that's
Ouija
a good one.
boards, the Ouija board can react to what you're thinking. I've tested that and seen that happen at least 100 times. Just thinking you get the thing moving and table tipping, and and you've got an answer. Or I'm just saying, put an answer in your head, to someone sitting across from me, saying, "Do not give the answer," just telepathically, and it completely responding to whatever she was thinking. It's incredible. So you see, you do connect to any device. We're made up of energy. I believe we can manipulate absolutely anything through psychokinesis, telekinesis, things like that. But I'll tell you something. This thing was amazing, and getting Frank's box is a whole different thing. But the poor, the apps rather, that can get funky because you don't know where that's coming from.
Is that is like, is that a signal, or is that a piece of malware trying to talk to you?
What? Sorry, on
Is
where?
that, it's like, oh, is that and with the app? It's like, is that a signal, or is that a piece of malware trying to talk?
Well, I'll tell you something. Yeah, I had somebody sent me one of the apps, and I don't want to say the name. I don't want to. I don't want to. I have a lot of respect for the person who created it, only because of the fact that he's created so many incredible paranormal devices. Um, been featured on a whole lot of shows and stuff. Anyway, what people don't realize about the specific app and the piece of equipment, the equipment existed long before the app. There were probably 5 different variations of this thing as it evolved, but it had the built-in GPS. So it's going to pick up all kinds of things in the
Oh
location
yeah,
that you're in, right? I mean, there's just things to factor in. Yeah. Um, yeah, well, he told me he was trying to actually contact aliens. Annette says Frank thought he was contacting aliens. That was his intention, with his conversation with me. Um, but, of course, it went on to the thing is well loved, and people have designed their own ghost box and such. And you have the Geo box, which is just like crazy stuff right there. Amazing. But with that being said, it just lends to the theory that people are very creative and have been coming out with they've taken a lot of steps to try to advance the paranormal community in research, but sometimes it's just the basic methods that work the best.
Yeah, I have to I have to say that is that's a very profound statement, and I cannot doubt it. I mean,
Yeah.
I've used Ouija boards. I mean,
Yeah.
Ouija boards personally haven't worked. They never worked for me,
Right.
and but that could be a whole other reason. I mean, they don't work for me.
Yeah.
I mean, pendulums work. I've used candles. I've used mirrors. I've used scrying, but
Yeah.
not for some reason Ouija boards just don't do it. They just don't work for me.
Yeah. No, some people do really well with them. Other people not so much. I'd like to try and do more scrying.
Oh,
I
my wife
own
is
I own a
my
really
wife.
large black mirror, antique black mirror that I've not really played with because it's a monstrosity to try to move around and put on its back. And
Black mirrors themselves. I mean, the whole process of making like mirrors. I mean,
yeah,
for a long time, what in the 17th century, 16th, 17th century.
yeah,
It was a difficult process. I mean, it took a lot, and it was
yeah,
expensive, and
yeah,
and the methods that came from it. I mean, that came into Europe from it. Came from they came from the Middle East, and
yes,
and the Persian area. So there was a
yeah,
lot of mystery behind it, and
mhm,
well, some of the people that did it, were
yeah,
magicians, and they would put spells in the mirrors. They
mhm,
and things like that. So
yeah,
the whole process, of
yeah.
what's behind the mirror. I mean, was a
Mhm. That and the big crystal ball. Like I've got one the size of a basketball. It's like I would love to try to do it, but it's a whole other art form. I think, like the scrying. It's something entirely different, would you say?
oh yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean,
it's
the
something I
ancient
think you have to
Greeks
teach
used.
yourself.
I mean, Nostradamus, used use a sensor in water. The ancient
Mhm.
Greeks used pools. I mean,
Yeah.
it's all in the. I think it's all in the intention and the skill involved as well. I mean,
Yeah. No, exactly. Is that this, I've been told, from people that do the scrying, that like you teach yourself to do it. There's different levels of ITC as well, even with vapor, right? Water, different types of scrying, I think. And I mean, I've seen people do incredible things that way. Um, Evan says, can you talk about the Estes methods? I have never used it. Have you tried
I
have you
can't say
tried
I've
it?
ever used it. I
Yeah.
never have.
Yeah, where they just basically, you cover your eyes. Essentially, it's isolating you from other sounds and trying to see what you get. And somebody in the other room will basically, I know when I saw it done the one time, they had, I think it was one of the Ovilus programs where they were able to just jot things down from what the one person in the other room was experiencing. Now I know that I ended up ordering a device many years ago. Haven't used it. Took, oh my gosh, took paperwork to get it in the country because allegedly, they're saying you're taking a chance, brain damage, things like that, because they would set up electrodes to your head and do this. It was the same idea of trying to give you the sense of
Oh,
feeling
was it?
psychic. The God helmet is what they called it.
Oh, okay. It's not what I was thinking of.
Okay.
I was. Yeah,
Yeah.
that actually, what you just said made me think of the. What was that guy? It was in the late '90s. It was
Kreskin.
Stephen Gibbs, the time travel
Stephen
machine.
Gibbs. Okay, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah.
Stephen Gibbs. I'm telling you, look it up. You will love it. It's
Yeah. Yeah. I'll have to look that up for sure.
I mean,
But
I'm not besmirching the man because I don't know if the machine actually worked, but
yeah.
apparently he
Yeah.
sells them. Well, he sold them at one time.
Yes, it's just one of those things.
It was a
I mean,
hyperdimensional resonator.
yeah, I never would have remembered that. So
It was the hyperdimensional resonator.
certainly not. Yes. I like the Estes methods. I've not tried it. I have known people who not only have tried it, but who swear by it. So, I don't actively get out and investigate as much anymore. Schedule doesn't allow it. And you just learn how to, I've always helped people. I don't need to, the type of stuff I did, I didn't need to really investigate per se. If somebody wanted something out of their house because it was malevolent and the family's being tormented, and you have everybody in the family saying we've all had experiences, they
Yeah.
check out medically they're clear. Psychiatric assessments or psychological assessments are coming back clear. Then it's just like, okay, let's just take steps to just remove this and not, you know, ask for the invitation of communication or trying to communicate with something that the family does not want there.
Well, it's the
Right.
same with the
So
old folklore. Like walking past the cemetery at night, or
yes.
if you're walking alone at night and
Yeah.
you hear someone call your name, don't
Yeah.
answer back. I mean, it could be a malevolent entity, and it could follow you
Yes.
home. It's same with
Yeah.
walking. Like I said, same with walking by graveyard at night. Something
Yes.
whistles, don't whistle back.
Don't
It's
whistle at night. Yes, right. As a
don't
shout out to
whistle,
our network show, Don't Whistle at Night.
don't whistle at night. It's
Yeah. Yeah. No,
dark.
100%. 100%. Jess, hello, Jess. Um, Analog technology is specifically used for spirit communication in many government programs, despite having more advanced technology available because of the wave pace and memory retention. And she would know. I'll leave it
Yeah,
at
and you can do better fine tuning with analog than you can with digital. It's
yeah. 100. Oh, yeah. I prefer the analogs to, I will only use analog when I'm doing any sort of spirit box sessions. I really do like the old, and Frank's box is amazing. So it's just very simplistic, and it's not that I love the one that I had designed, because it's just you can fine tune it manually. You don't have to wait for it to just scan through. You can just manually just do it. Has all kinds of settings on it, and we've had really good results with it through the years. But again, I don't play around with them as much as I used to, but I do love to interact with it. And I think one of the coolest experiences I had was because you have to remember analog, you're looking at an AM station, and
oh
the
yeah,
range
it's
yeah, you got to deal with the range. So I ended up in this place out in, literally like with one AM station. And what was interesting is the family had said that whatever was there at the time liked music. So
mm,
I just put this thing on. It wouldn't communicate any other way. And I said, I chose so many different genres of music. I'd say, let me, play some old Blue Eyes for me, right? Frank Sinatra, or give me
oh
the
yeah.
King being Elvis, or give me some Yellow Submarine. You know what I mean? Like just kind of because we didn't know what era this spirit was from, but every single time I asked for a genre, it gave me a song from each one. You're asking for
Ah,
country. You're asking for a rock AM rock network isn't going to give me country music. It's not going to give me crooning old Blue Eyes Frank Sinatra. It's not going to give me classical. You know what I mean? I thought
I
that
do.
was interesting.
Yeah, there was a in a town actually not far from where I'm living.
Hmm.
There was an old there was an old vintage shop that the shop is closed now, but there was an old vintage
Yeah.
shop that was haunted, and the entity that lived in the house wasn't
Yeah.
malevolent or in any way, but
Hmm.
if if you were doing something in the house that it didn't like,
Yeah.
it would it would throw objects, or if you were playing music that it didn't like, it would let you know, and
Mm.
it would throw objects. It would make noise, and it liked old time country,
Right. Right.
and so if you came in and you're playing some modern rock, it let you know that it didn't approve.
Wow. Yeah, that's it's true. That is interesting. They all have their own thing. But let's say we're getting into, we're getting into the whole malevolent aspect of everything. Let's say you suspect something is in the house, and
Mhm.
it's not great. It's not great. I mean, there's so many stories that I have through the years. It's pretty blatant. You pretty much know when you have something that it
Oh,
has the
the
intention
atmosphere
to harm
alone.
you.
I mean,
Yeah. So, what do you look for?
well, I would look. I mean, the first thing I'd look for is look no further than the people in the house themselves. I mean, if there are other people living there,
Mhm.
if they're living there, I mean, what is what's going on with them? I mean, what's going on with their lives? I mean, what's
Mhm. Mhm.
because what was going on in their lives, or one of their lives, or what was happening in the house or with the people before everything started happening. You'd look for
Mhm.
that. Look for the history. I mean, look for the history of the land. I mean, the history of the building.
Mhm.
And if not that, you know, uh, talk to people. Talk to people that are around the
Mhm.
area. I mean, what do they know? What do they know about the house? I mean, is there something that went on there that
Mhm.
that wasn't?
So get to the basics essentially. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
what was the house there first? Was there something on the land before?
yeah,
You
or the
know?
land. Yeah, the land itself. I mean, like
Yeah.
what's the makeup of the land? I mean, is there like a lot of quartzite in
Mm.
the area? Is there a lot of granite? As a
Yeah. Yeah. Was there running water
was there water under the
under
house?
yeah,
Was there a
was there
well?
ever battles? I've dealt
Was
with
there a
people like
well?
we've had a
Was there some
battlefield
homes in the
here.
area?
Well,
I
yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, because there's a whole number of things you can look for,
Mhm.
before you automatically say, or before I may like jump to
Mhm.
conclusions. I mean,
Sure. But let's hypothetically say let's just say that okay, we've done this, people do their homework. Most people don't really know where to turn. They're starting to get like sulfur smells or foul excrement smells. They're getting popping in the ears, like the scratching on the walls, or they're getting like all kinds of just your typical stuff. um I always say the dead giveaway is of course, the smells, the sounds. I tell
yeah,
people,
the sulfur smell, the smell
yeah.
of death.
Hmm.
I mean, scratching and
Hmm.
keep in mind, you've checked under the house, you have checked in the walls to make sure there's nothing dead in there, because that,
Yeah, yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's a matter of,
uh,
of checking everything, and then you know, like, are you new to the house? Did you just buy the
yeah,
house, or have you lived in the house a long time? Where have you been recently, or what have you done recently? You
and that's
know,
a good one too. Because I mean, I
yeah.
mean, when in Missoula, not about 50 miles from me now. I mean, there was a house there in the 80s that was a brand new house and it was built.
Mhm.
And right after it was built, I mean, people started hearing demonic screams coming from the house, and
Mm.
something,
Mm.
something, something about that house and about that and the land on it,
Mm.
didn't like,
They didn't like it. Yeah. 'Cause don't get me wrong, a human spirit who's not happy with the situation could cause you
I'll let
all
you know.
kinds of angst. Bad person in
And
life, even bad person in the afterlife.
not even human. It could be an animal spirit too. I mean,
Yes. Yeah.
it could be a dog, it could be a cat, it could be a bear. I mean,
Mm.
I mean, it's
Mm. Yeah.
animals. Their animal spirits are just as prevalent as human spirits, and maybe even more
Mhm.
so. Uh,
Mhm. Yes. So, what about if you have a pet who's I mean, some really, really malevolent hauntings, pets will get affected. Sometimes they
oh yeah,
die.
pets will like
Sometimes
pets
they
will
get attachments because they can't speak for themselves.
yeah, pets will let something's going on, and they'll know before you do. I mean, they can see and sense,
Yeah.
in ranges that we cannot. So,
Mhm.
if there's something in the room, that
Mhm.
cat's gonna know it. That dog's gonna know it. I mean, then
Mhm.
they're gonna let you know it. I mean, you might brush it off as just, your cat wants attention, or your dog, wants attention, or something like that. But it's letting you know that it's letting you know that there is something in the room, and it is not friendly. And
right. Yes.
And that brings on a whole other subject of matter of what exactly is it? What exactly is, and what's in the room? What I mean, is it a ghost? Is it an entity? Is it a demonic presence? I mean,
yeah.
is it a shadow person? Is it a dark fairy? I mean, it's is it a sprite? I mean, an elemental? I mean,
yeah. So what do you do? What do you do?
What do you do?
If you were in that situation, what do you do?
Well, first thing I would do is I'd cleanse the house.
But remember, you're new to this. Like we're paranormal people, so we can say, well, this is what we would do. But let's just say you're just a regular guy who's just moved into this place and have no interest in the paranormal. Maybe you have a little interest, or your wife might have some interest, but I mean, what do you turn to? Most people have no idea what to
Most
what
people
to do.
turn to their priest. I mean, if they're religious, they turn to a priest, or or a rabbi, or or a healer, or preacher. Right. I mean, whoever. I mean, most people, sure, if there's something like that, they like to turn towards religion, because it's religion. Tends to offer it offers most people the answers to the unseen that they can't get elsewhere. I mean, maybe they have like you said. Maybe they have no interest in the paranormal. Maybe they're not. Maybe they think it's all a bunch of woo-woo nonsense.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean,
so does the internet? I mean, of course, now we have the internet that can, pretty much, I think, educate most people.
Oh yeah,
and as far as
Oh yeah, I mean, and you can go online, and you can find the answer to almost anything. But then again, you can also go online and find a bunch of nonsense that tells you nothing and just makes it worse.
Yeah,
right. So it's a lot of people. It's what they're going online. I mean, they're kind of gambling with the answer. I mean,
I
mean, this forum says it's an evil spirit. This forum says that it's it's an attachment. This forum says it's a shadow person, and I should do this. And
so you're getting all kinds of mixed information.
Yeah, you're getting mixed signals. I mean, and you're getting answers. But a lot of the methods to cleanse your house, or are the same. I mean, you can sage the house. I mean, are we talking about white sage? We're talking about Palo Santo. We're talking about lavender. We're talking about frankincense, myrrh. I mean, I mean, personally, I like Palo Santo, and I like white sage.
That's a big one. A lot of people really love that stuff.
Yeah, but Palo Santo and white sage, both, especially white sage, it has actually had, not only does it smells good, but it also has antimicrobial properties, and it will literally cleanse the air.
Yeah. I like that. This is true.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, you go ahead. And, I'm just getting notes together.
And not only that, then there is, obviously there's the physical, as the house cluttered, we'll declutter the house. I mean, get all that stagnant, bad energy out. Open your windows, and I know it sounds silly, but also, play music that is, that uplifts you, that makes you feel good, that puts a positive energy in the air. And also, and it does sound silly, but you know what? Especially in the more new age, Wicca and witchcraft realms, take a pot, take a ladle, bang it around the house, yell, spirits, spirits be gone. You're not welcome here. In the name of whatever, whoever, the name of God, the name of Gaia, in the name of the in the name of the Creator. Bang, bang
Mm-hmm.
it around. Make a
Yeah.
lot of noise. Make that spirit uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
It's your
Yeah.
house. It's not theirs. It's yours.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
cleanse it. Make a bunch of noise. Play some nice music, and line.
Mm-hmm.
Line
Yeah.
the threshold. Salt.
Mm-hmm.
Put some iron. Like an iron horseshoe.
Mm-hmm.
Above it. Above the
Mm-hmm.
threshold.
Oh,
Line the windowsill.
I have it. I have it everywhere.
Oh yeah,
Salt
no,
lamps.
as do I. It's
Yeah,
great stuff.
it
And
is. Yes.
I mean,
I
there's a
think
lot.
we need to, there's a lot of things that you can essentially get.
Oh yeah,
Even salt lamps, which are natural ionizers, because ionizers works with positive, negative ions. We are
yeah.
energy, and
We're all,
the entity you're dealing with is energy. And they have been I mean, I used to have mine every floor at one point. The house is foolproof. I mean, it's just, I think a lot about in intention. And when we were talking about earlier, you have a lot of these things. If they're malevolent, they're feeding off your fear. They're creating your fear, and they are feeding off that
yeah,
fear.
and they're also
Therefore,
feeding off
when
your doubt.
you yeah, so when you're saying, look, open the windows. I tell people, live, love, laugh, watch a funny movie, just listen to some music, dance, go outside, do some earthing, do some grounding, just take your power back. You do not have to sit
Earthing is a
there.
good one.
Earthing is a really good one.
That's a really
And
good
if
one.
you're
That's,
not in a
that's one
place
a
where
lot
you
of people
can't,
don't know about.
no, it's true. But if you don't have access to nature, earthing is just taking your shoes off and walking on the grass, or walking just on the beach, just connecting your energy to the planet and grounding yourself to the planet. Because if you're grounded, it's a little bit harder for things to attach to you. Not that they can't, but it just makes it a little bit harder. If you don't have
Yeah,
access to that, then find a really good grounding technique that works for you.
what a lot of people did back then.
Go ahead.
A lot
Yeah.
of people had they had copper at the bottom of shoes.
That's right. That's right. They did
Hmm?
have that.
Copper at the
Yes.
bottom of the shoes. That worked.
Yeah.
That worked
Or even
wonders.
wearing copper. I wear a lot of
Yeah.
copper.
Oh yeah, I
Cop.
got a bunch of.
Yeah. Well, copper, silver, you have to remember the elements, like our minerals, anything that's from the earth. Silver will have its own thing. Gold has its own thing. Copper has its own thing. Just research what works for you to give yourself a balance, because it's natural. It helps you. It really does. And, burning sage, you can burn sage, Palo Santos. You can look up cinnamon, look up cedar. These are things that
I've been
are
mint.
actually, yeah, there are things that work towards or repelling, negative energy, or not, I mean, spirits, whatever, demonic. I mean, it's just energy in the house. If you're having a bad day, you come home and you just, you know, get into an argument with your significant other, and you go out and come back 2 hours later and wonder why you feel really foul being in that space. It's because it just sits there. You have to just cleanse that. And there's a lot of things that can do that. So, I mean, sweetgrass is another good one. Lemongrass is another good one. Just look to nature. I mean, how
Oh
many
yeah,
cultures, Jonathan, use olive oil? Olive oil, and put salt on the window
a lot
ledges
of them.
and around the thresholds.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and a lot of the oils that are used. Like the
Mm.
man said, iron's great.
Yeah. Yeah, iron is great. And that goes back, that keeps fairies away too, doesn't it?
Yeah, iron is lethal to fairies, and it can be lethal to to other dark entities as well. It's
Mhm.
one of it's especially cold iron. It's
Yes.
it's
Yes.
it has a powerful you know uh, powerful aura against them. Uh,
Yes.
that's why they say when you're walking in the woods at night, or if you're walking by
Mhm.
yourself, uh, you know, carry a piece of
Mhm.
iron with you. Wear a piece of iron. That way,
Mhm.
negative spirits or negative fairies
Mhm.
won't won't bother you.
Yeah.
You'll
And
be
sometimes you can find this, go to antique markets for the really old stuff. I've had people say, if they've lived near railway lines, that they can go in and sometimes they will find the large iron spikes that
oh
just
yeah,
get
I
discarded
have one
because
of
they're
those.
bent. Yeah, see, I mean, you can definitely get them.
Oh yeah,
Um,
and around here where I live, you can get iron horseshoes.
yes,
I have
that's
iron
another
nails.
one.
I have it's
Yes, same. Yeah. Yeah. Well, our, the house in which I lived in, I mean, it was constantly under restoration, and we always were finding the big old iron nails.
oh
So
yeah, they're
you, as
great.
you're taking down the old lath, past your lath, and you got the nails, and you're just putting up, screws. Now you're just, restoring. So we
You know,
ended
if
up with
you're
a whole whack of them.
if anybody is like I said, if anybody's near an old site where they're tearing down a
Mhm.
building that's around 100 years old or more,
Go look.
yeah, go
Yeah.
look. Yeah, pick
Yes.
up those nails, take them with you. It's
I'm trying to get to the comments, guys. We're on a lot of different platforms. My cat once was playing in the dining room and suddenly stopped, looked down the hall to where I was standing in the kitchen, looked past me to an empty wall, fluffed up, hissed, and ran off. Yeah. I think if you're following your pet's lead, that's telling you to just get out
yeah,
of the kitchen.
yeah,
Yeah.
cleanse that area.
Here's a question. John, as far as spirits go, is there a commonality to the reason why there's a haunting?
It could be any number of things. I mean, and I think the commonality for most people is the fact that someone in their family, may have passed on, or a friend may have passed on.
Hmm.
Because most for many people, it's the fact that someone close to them, died, and
Hmm.
I personally believe that a lot of times it's just that person's spirit checking in on them,
Hmm.
seeing how they're doing. I mean, yeah, I mean, if it's an old building, and it's like they just moved in or something like that. I mean, and then there's spiritual activity, going on in the house.
Hmm.
Uh, Go down to the county records office and see what's happened there. I mean, it's there's a lot of interesting information can be found if you just do some digging.
Hmm. I agree. I mean, you also have to remember, try to think of how many people, have come and gone long before us. I mean, there's all kinds of spirit
Oh yeah,
people all
let's
over the
see.
place, and you have to remember that you may be looking at a past resident of a home. I've seen farms even get divided up and turn into subdivisions. It doesn't
Hmm.
change the fact that that land was once one place. I've worked with many locations like that, and sometimes you can calm a haunting down just by, for example, new family moves in, they've got things going on in a specific area of the house. You bring in a good medium, and the medium says, okay, Fred here, for example, used to sit in this room every day at 3 o'clock, watch his favorite program. He wants to be left alone. He doesn't want the kids running around screaming. So if you can just leave Fred alone for an hour, you won't have a problem. Family says, okay, never a problem again. It's
Yeah,
just
no, and you're absolutely right.
yeah,
Lo-
it's just making getting that understanding, making the acquaintance. And what about things like unsolved murders or dying suddenly, not realizing a car accident? You don't realize you kind of get bounced out of your body. Spirits
yeah, and
can
there's a
attach,
whole
yeah, spirits will try to attach to the next living thing. I've heard stories of people saying, well, there's a spirit in this tree. It's a living thing. And if you're
well,
bounced out, you don't realize it's
and
possible. But where's the will?
there's a whole subculture, in the spirit
Yeah.
world. It's there's the angry, restless dead. I mean, there's the
Yes.
dead who died suddenly, and or they died a violent death, and they have a lot of the people that died suddenly. For example, I mean, maybe they died in an accident. Got hit by a car
Mhm.
or or something.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
something happened.
Sudden
They're
death.
dead, and yeah,
They're
they don't know they're
wandering
dead.
around. They don't even realize they're dead, right?
Yeah, they don't realize they're dead,
Yeah.
or if they're
Mhm.
or if they do realize they're dead, they don't know how to move on, and they're trying to reach out.
Mhm.
Then there's the whole, you know, then there's the whole culture of the ones who died, violently, who were murdered,
Yeah.
or they were horribly abused, and or they died sick and alone, and
Mhm.
uh, and they're
Or
angry.
how about this one? How about we're so, conditioned in our belief system. When you're going back to Victorian times or before, like, can you imagine going back to 1700s? And it was very staunch religion with the Puritans, for example, very staunch. You're getting onto the East Coast of even, America. Remember one thing, if you've sinned, you may think to yourself, you know what? I'm going to hell. I'm going to take my chances to stay right here because it might be safer to me because I don't like the alternative.
A lot of them. Yeah, there's a lot of them that may still be, wandering around and in that space between the land of the living and the land of the dead. I mean,
Yes.
they don't want it. They're afraid to move on. They're afraid to go into the light, and
Yes.
they're afraid of what awaits them. I mean, because that Puritan upbringing, that would that scare anybody.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Okay. Or somebody just asked, Organite. Right there. There's Organite.
Yep. Yeah, I have one of those.
Yeah, I've got Organite jewelry. I've got, this sits next to the computer because it's great for computer screen stuff, no headaches, things like that. But it's protective for sure. So good one. Good one on that. See, we both have one. So we're right there with you.
They're great.
Yep. So what I want to toss in there as well is getting into different theories with similarities. Like, I want to get into the sleep paralysis thing in a moment, but similarities between paranormal and alien abductions. I'm an experiencer of both aggressive paranormal activity and abductions. Probably, I'm an experiencer of contact, 100%. And those experiences that I'm aware of, I don't fear them. They've not been malevolent at all. Doesn't mean it hasn't happened to me back in the day at all. Okay, it's possible.
Well,
but I tend to question.
That goes back thousands of years. I mean,
yeah.
It could be. I mean, they didn't have. I mean, people back then, they didn't have a concept of aliens. For them, it was all angels or demons or spirits. And then you go a little further along. Here come the fairies and the fae and the Tuatha De Danann and
could be anything ethereal.
Yeah, anything ethereal. I mean, anything ethereal. I mean, it could be spirits, it could be fae, it could be whatever. And then as you're coming along, more into the more modern times, it's you have shadow people, you have but then once again, also then you go back thousands of years again. And then what do you have? You have sleep paralysis, the night hag. You have there's a whole wide range of of entities that can paralyze you. Sleep paralysis, and they come up and they enter your presence. It's today is alien.
Exactly. And everything kind of goes around full circle. So before I was going to get into spirit or sleep paralysis next, but I'll do it right now. So what's interesting with spirit sleep paralysis, I'll be okay. And of course, there's a lot with everything. There's medical or scientific reasons for everything.
Oh yeah,
so I'm just going to put that out there. Yes, it's absolutely a thing. But throughout the paranormal, even throughout ufology, cryptozoology, shadow people, for example, have been seen in all three genres. Like you say, the old hag syndrome, that that's our paranormal side of things. Alien abductions, there have been shadow people, and sleep paralysis as well. Both. So see, we're crossing over again.
Yeah, and sleep paralysis is attached to all of them. It's
yes. There was a scientist. This is what I kind of like, because he's a physicist, because it shows you that even science can be made to believe. So there was a Canadian physicist named Jean-Christophe Terrellon, and while he was doing research in Japan, he didn't believe that evil spirits, he didn't believe that the sleep paralysis had anything to do with evil spirits. I just want to put that out there. So once a week, he started sensing a threatening presence something evil beside his bed while he was paralyzed. His ears started ringing. He felt the weight press down in his chest as he struggled to breathe. So, through intense pressure in his head that he was feeling, it felt like he wanted to explode. He found himself transported upward and looking down at his body. He even felt like he was hurled through a long, long tunnel. So it comes through again, abductee claims, unable to move, buzzing sounds, difficulty breathing, pressure to the chest, flashing lights, feelings of floating around in the room, seeing figures, which we know is, shadow people, or getting into, the crossover phenomenon again with paranormal and, you know, again, extraterrestrial contact or abduction, foul smells, bright white lights, crackling sounds, parallel, realities, the sleep paralysis, hag syndrome, like all these things are crisscrossing. How do you know? How are you supposed to know what you're really dealing with? Are you dealing with a malevolent non-human entity, or what are you dealing with?
Maybe it's all one and the same. I mean, it's
Got it.
who's to say, that as the centuries go by,
Yeah.
whatever it is that is, that is affecting people, uh,
Yeah.
is essentially, changing costumes, for for the new age.
Yeah. Yeah. That's actually a good point. It is a good point. So because I mean, let's just for a moment say, even in the UFO disclosure, you're having people pretty up there who are saying these are demons. There's a lot of people who swear by that. So I don't know. It seems to be a constant crossover. I can tell you, speaking for myself, I was an extra, or I am still an extraterrestrial contactee. I lived with a very malevolent entity, very malevolent, and it was crazy spooky. But back then, I'm aging myself a bit. We didn't have the internet, so I had to do it the old-fashioned way: go to the library, do some research, and I leaned a lot at the time, aside from just religion, because I mean, I'm raised Catholic rather,
Yeah.
but my family wasn't practicing Catholics by any means, right? But I wanted to know more about cleansing my space. And I just leaned on Wicca because it's all I could find really in the local libraries. And I started cleansing and I realized really quick that it was about mindset, taking my power back and making myself believe that I had more power than I was being led to believe. And I can't tell you how things started to turn around.
Well, yeah. Well, it all comes down also to the it's to the controlling your own power, mindset.
Mhm.
If you spend your life, believing that you are I'll just use the Christian mindset. You are a lowly sinner who's only
Mhm.
worthy of hell because of original sin. Personally, if you spend your whole life just believing that, then yeah,
Mm.
I imagine any encounter that you may have, with this with any entity, you'll probably automatically believe it is demons, or if it's uplifting the way,
Mm.
then it's
Yeah.
angels. I mean, and
Mhm. Yeah.
if you go onto the more new age, or occult side, you see that, oh well, maybe it is a malevolent entities, such as
Mm.
shadow people, or dark spirits, or
Mhm.
night hag. I mean,
Mhm.
don't get me started on the night hag. I mean, and all the different
Yeah.
genres I've attached to that, or if you're in the Arab world, it could be jinn. I mean, we haven't brought up jinn yet either. So,
Yeah. No, it's true. So what type of, why don't we do that? What are the type of malevolent entities that are out
well,
there that plague people?
They're shadow people for one. I mean, and with those you have the Hat Man, you have the you have you have the little shadow people. You have the
Mm-hmm.
you have the spider-like ones. You have the mists. You have
Mm-hmm.
you have the red-eyed ones. I mean, there's a whole then there's a whole wide range of those. I mean, then you
Yeah.
have evil spirits, like you have the angry dead, who are who are who
Mm-hmm.
are spirits, that are that
Yeah.
have that have died, and maybe they died violently, or maybe they died with unfinished business, or they died with a
Mm-hmm.
burning sense of vengeance, against anybody who against whoever killed them in the first place or caused them to die, or that they just died as because they're an angry soul, and
Mm-hmm.
then you have like the hungry dead, from from Asia, that are
Oh, the hungry ghosts. Yeah. Those are
ghosts. That's a good
crazy
one too.
stuff.
It's
Yeah.
I'm actually
Yes.
talking about that in the current book I'm writing. It's I'm
Wow.
speaking of the angry of the hungry dead. I mean,
Yeah.
and I mean, you can call them whatever, you can call them any number of reason of any
Mm.
number of things, but the bottom line is most of these spirits have died. Maybe they died violently. Maybe they died, with unfinished business.
Mm.
Other ones, maybe they're angry because in a lot of
Mm.
cultures, funeral rites have to and funeral rites have to be practiced, and because if let's say the body is left unattended or was buried in a pauper's grave or something like that,
Mm.
or maybe they were a criminal and they were buried in unsanctified ground. I mean,
Mm.
and they
Mm.
feel that they were wronged. Well, that spirit's going to go out and it's going to get its vengeance any way it can. Uh,
Mm.
maybe it has a message. It wants to tell you, I didn't do this. I was innocent of this crime, and I'm not going to rest, until my and until this wrong is righted. I mean,
Mm.
maybe it was a
Yeah.
maybe it was a woman who died in childbirth. I mean, that was really common back then. Prior to the late 19th century,
Mm.
a woman had like a 5% chance of dying in childbirth, and
It's true. No, things like pneumonia,
yeah,
children, so many young children, in the 1800s died of just something like pneumonia, something that we can cure
oh yeah,
today,
yeah, pneumonia
you
or
know?
measles. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
maybe it was the ghost of a child and it died, in its
Mm.
sleep, or it
Mm.
died in agony, and it's it's trapped
Mm.
in that state, of terror that it
Mm.
was in when it died, and
Mhm. Yeah.
it's trying to let the people around it know, I died, I existed, I do what you can, so my soul can move on. I mean,
Mhm.
or
What about
maybe
those incarnate spirits who just want to try to get back into the physical realm, get back into a body, get back into just,
oh yeah,
life?
possession. I
Yeah.
mean, oh yeah. I mean, and the ancient Greeks the ancient Greeks and the Romans had a whole aspect about that. I mean, with the
Mm.
they when they were necromancers and
Yeah.
priests were trying to contact the dead. I mean, they often
Mhm.
they would they would take an animal that typically an animal that looked like a black sheep or a black goat and
Mhm.
they would slit its throat. They would and spill the blood, into a pit in the ground, because for them the underworld literally was the underworld, and
Mm.
these spirits
Yeah.
desperate for life again, for an aspect of it, would consume this blood, and
Mhm.
they would take the life force out of the blood, so
Yeah.
even for a moment they could live again, but that practice was not without peril, because these ghosts could become enraged and
Mm.
really angry, and they would attack the people who were trying to summon them. They'd even try to possess them. I mean,
Mhm.
that's the
Yes.
Arab
Yes.
world had that. The Roman world had that. I mean,
Mhm.
that practice is thousands of years old, and
Mhm.
I personally believe, that the rules that governed it thousands of years old are just as valid today as they were back then. I mean,
Mhm.
you know, if
Yes.
you're trying to contact the dead, or if you have something, or if there is something in your house that is attacking you or bothering you, by all means, do whatever it is you can to appease it or get it out of your house. I mean, it's I mean,
Yes.
even that seemingly benign spirit, that you may think is friendly,
Mhm.
it could just be biding its time.
Mhm. I
I
think
mean,
as well, when you're moving into a place, you should maybe, I mean, I remember doing an article for a large magazine and newspaper many years ago, and they had suggested, should realtors have to disclose that a house is haunted? Now it seems to be something that, yes,
oh yeah, a lot of them do now,
you
and
do. In some
but,
part, there are some places though where communities, like, it is mandatory to do
oh,
that.
I know of two places here, where I live that they're haunted.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't advertise it, but they're haunted.
Yeah.
And,
But if they sold it, they might have to they have to disclose, like, if someone, let's say, died in the house, or did somebody, is the house haunted? Is there some sort of activity? Like, that's why sometimes you see, like, it's not just memes when you see a sign that says not haunted, in a house that's for sale. Like, they're essentially telling you. But I mean, how do you do that? Like I say, farms, for example, that have been divided up
oh yeah,
and put into
yeah,
surveys. I mean, you have to understand, back in the day, what made all you had, for some people, if you had a farm, you were considered land wealthy. If you had crops or cattle, you were considered even wealthier. But at the end of the day, your land sustained you. Sometimes, your kids were born on the land. You didn't get to just go turn on the light switch. Your land, you would cut down trees, for firewood. You would get lard for candles. Your crops and your animals, or your herds would sustain you. And sometimes you died on the land, you were buried on the land. So
oh
when you
yeah,
died, you're not letting go of the land for
oh
some
yeah, and
people. You
and
know what I
even and
mean?
there's yeah, no, I do, and like in the old world, I mean, especially in the medieval era,
Yeah.
most people in
Yeah.
that time period lived and died within 10 miles of where they were born. And oftentimes where they were born is also where they
Yeah.
were going to die. I mean, because that land, it was inherited. Or, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, yeah, even if you were, a peasant, a landowning peasant,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
I mean, your kids were probably going to inherit that land, and they were probably going to be doing the same thing you were doing. If you were a farmer, they were going to be farmers. If they
Mm-hmm.
raised sheep, you're going to raise sheep. If
Mm-hmm.
you were a blacksmith, they were going to be blacksmiths. I mean, the
Yeah.
weave baskets, or you weave
Yeah.
cloth.
That was
That's
it.
what they were
Family
going to do.
business.
Yeah,
Yeah.
family business. There wasn't
Yeah.
the idea of choosing what you wanted to do really didn't exist back then, and because
Mm-hmm.
most people they lived and died in the land they were born on, and most of them were illiterate. So
Mm-hmm. Yes.
reading and writing, in that era was
That was a luxury. Not everybody got to read and
yeah,
write.
if you join the
Yeah.
clergy, that was another matter because even then,
Mm-hmm.
even in that era, good
Mm-hmm.
40% of the nobles couldn't read or write either. So it was
Yeah, it's true. Very select few. Heidi says, just curious, are there any large cats known as malevolent spirits?
oh yeah, prior to the mid 19th century. I mean, especially especially in the 17th and early 18th centuries. Especially with the witchcraft, craze that where everybody was were hunting witches. Yeah, people believe that cats were devil familiars, or even witches in disguise, and they especially in Europe. I mean, in the large numbers of cats were killed because they believed they're witches familiars, and or they could be malevolent spirits themselves, or some
Yeah,
people say
demonic.
yeah, some people say
Mm.
that actually had a part to play, in the Black Plague, when it exploded across Europe in the 14th century. I mean, it's
Mhm. Isn't that
I think it was a little
crazy?
more than that, but it was but I imagine it played a part. It's
Yeah, again, just making assumptions. Um, so I don't know. Do you think that do you find there's like an influx of because I mean, I say an influx of activity or hauntings. I truly think we can create our own just through
Oh, we absolutely can. In
psychokinesis,
reverse.
get that poltergeist thing goes down pat. But I find, and I'd love to know your thoughts on it, that now with television and so many people and internet, the same. So many people watching a lot of these shows and wanting to go out and try things on their own, for example. Do you think that it's creating more problems, or do you think maybe it's educating people?
I think it's doing both. I
Yeah,
mean, because
yeah,
that
me
what
too.
we just spoke of there, egregors comes into play, or topas. I mean,
Yeah, tulpas. Slender Man is just for one
that's what
most
Slender Man.
popular.
I mean,
Yeah.
even with shadow people. I mean, that's I
Yes.
mean, that can be that could be an actual phenomena, or it could also be a tulpa. Depending on the situation at hand.
Hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
because I firmly believe, if you really want to see something and you believe in it, you're going to see it. It's
You're
I
gonna
mean,
manifest it. You can't
whether
manifest
it,
$1 million, but you can
yeah,
manifest a freaking tulpa.
yeah, you can manifest all the tulpas you want. I mean, it's I mean, people are going to. It's
Yeah.
like you said,
Yes.
like Slender Man. It's a whole thing now.
Yes.
I mean, same with
Yes.
black eyed children. That's a good one too.
It's
I'm not
true.
saying that they don't. I'm not saying they don't exist.
Hmm.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not spirits do exist, but I
Hmm.
also believe that if you want to see something and you believe it enough, you're going to see it.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Yet there are people who wait their whole lives to try to have just to see a spirit, and it never happens. But yet, and some people will move into a house, and in my experience in families I've dealt with, you'll get the whole family, having experiences or being under
yeah,
some
they'll
kind of
bring it with them.
attack. But the one person in the house doesn't experience anything, and everything's going on around them. The whole family is just they're being frightened. Something is happening, and you have the one member of the family who's just like, "You're all crazy. There's nothing going on." It's
Oh
almost
yeah,
like it's a divide and conquer thing, that they're just going to just have the one guy who just doesn't see anything. And because I've had stories with families I've worked with where like one member out of the couple, the wife is under full on attack or vice versa, and the other spouse is into this sound deep meditative sleep, never hears or sees a thing.
well, yeah. Some people have the gift and some don't. I mean, it's I mean, even in families, some
Mm,
people in that family will have the gift of the second sight. Some people won't.
mm.
I mean, it's I mean, just because like let's say I didn't believe in spirits, and my
Mm,
wife did.
yeah.
She'll see them, and I won't. I mean,
Mm.
it's a
No, but I'm talking about being under attack.
oh,
Like
it's the same thing.
things are coming in, and everybody's having experiences, and they're trying to explain. Let's say dad's just like, you're all delusional, and mom and the two kids like, we're telling you there are sounds going on. Dad's like, I've never heard a sound. There scratches are coming up on them. The smells. Dad's like, you must have just hurt yourself. There's no smells. Like he's that. Some people are just like, do you think they're just it's all being veiled, from that person, or they're just not supposed to be the one to get it because you have to have the one that causes the friction in the house.
It could be both.
Divide.
It could also be plausible deniability. I mean,
Yeah.
they just choose to ignore it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Self-preservation. Yeah.
preservation. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm saying it could be that.
It could be. Well, I'll use my own example. My father used to just sit there and say, you're all just like losing your minds. My sisters, my mom, myself were just like, what? How do you not even know this is going on? It's happening when we're all awake. And he's just like, no, I am not experiencing anything. Yet, when he lending to your theory, as he got older and I got into the field as an adult, he goes, "Oh, I have had all kinds of paranormal experiences. Were you not living in the same house as the rest of us, and you saw nothing and experienced nothing?" And he's just like, "I really didn't, but I had all kinds of other paranormal experiences." So it's not like he didn't have the ability, and he acknowledged what he saw. But
Yeah, maybe the spirits in the house maybe the spirits in the house they were living in just weren't interested
that
in him.
I don't know. I mean, it was pretty gangbusters in that house. Let me tell you what. Like,
No,
yeah,
no, I'm not doubting that for
we're
a
all
second.
like,
Maybe they
yeah.
didn't manifest themselves to him, and therefore, as far as he was concerned, it really wasn't going
Mhm.
on, and or
Yeah.
maybe he had experiences as a child, but
Mhm.
his family, kept telling them that, don't say
Yeah.
that, don't say that,
You know what? You bring up a perfect point, and I'd like to address that. If a child sees something, how should a parent react? Do you think a parent
I
should
think they should
shut them
address it.
off, or do you think they should?
They should address it because
Yeah.
all that
Yeah.
I mean, all that conditioning. I mean, it's because that's what it is. It's conditioning. It's
Mhm.
you're not seeing anything. You're not seeing anything. I mean, no. That's not a ghost. That's a shadow.
Mhm.
That's not a or and some very religious families will believe that the child is possessed
Mhm.
or no, you did not see that because that means there's devils in the house.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think here's I mean, what my thoughts are is that a child is the weakest link. They're the most innocent, and they're like mini psychics. They can
they're
see
more in tune to the spirit world than we
everything.
are.
Yes, exactly. So a lot of times when something comes in, what's the instinct? Show yourself to the child because the child is easier to manipulate and frighten. Even
Well, it's the
even
same with
even a malevolent spirit person could come in and they know I can control the situation because the child is easiest to manipulate, and his parents aren't going to believe him
Oh, it's the
on
same
an
with
average.
fairies. I mean, it's fairies out
Okay.
when and little people and sprites and
Mhm,
all that. They often manifest themselves to children first because
mhm.
they are more attuned to
Yeah.
that world than we as adults are because we've been conditioned to believe that
Yeah.
most people only
Yeah.
things that exist in the world are what you see, touch, see, hear, and feel. I mean, it's
Yeah. Right.
whereas a child is more open to to that and yeah
Mhm.
and as children get older oftentimes that veil is put over their eyes
Yeah.
where yeah they'll even speak of it you know you know
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
my friend in the little green outfit told me he can't see me anymore because I'm 8 and I've reached the age of accountability and
Oh, so that's it. And then it stops.
yeah, it stops. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
there's oftentimes that age of accountability that comes into play, where where the supernatural and paranormal world is is close to them because now they are starting to become more aware of the world around them and
Yeah.
the and
Mhm.
what's the programming I should say the programming of the everyday
Mhm.
world is set in them and
Yes. Yes. Yeah, it's definitely something that just through the years of all the families that I have worked with, it always if there's a child there, it will usually start with a child. If there's no child, the pets will come under attack or, it always seems to be, let's go after the weakest link. We sit
oh
back
yeah
and
and
we
that's why
see
animals
who's the most
and that's why
vulnerable in the home.
oh yeah and that's
Yeah.
why animals see it continuously. I mean
Yeah.
they're animals, they're in our world but
Yeah.
they're not in our world.
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean
it's true. It's true. They're ethereal beings themselves in so many ways, I think,
they're
Um,
open they're open to things that we can't see. I mean they're like I said
mm,
they may be experiencing the world our world as as
mhm,
like they're living in it but they don't
mhm,
experience it as we do. They experience it with the mentality and the mindset and the beliefs and the instinct
mhm,
that an animal has and
mhm,
they're more in tune to
mhm.
you know to
Yes.
to the to the
Mhm.
spirit world.
Yeah. Yes. So we're coming down to the crunch, but let's let's say you've lived in a really like malevolent haunting. You've just been living this nightmare, and you finally find somebody who can help get you out of it. How do you say, when I say surviving a malevolent haunting or an attachment, something that's just pretty much decided, nah, I'm going to be your little attachment. I'm going to follow you everywhere and make your life miserable. Because some people go through this their entire lives. I worked
Oh,
with a
families
family.
go through
It
it.
was
Generational
50,
curses.
60, 70 years. Some people, like this one individual, she was in her 70s and she was 15 when she got something attached to her. And it was a hat man, ironically.
Oh,
And
that's the worst.
yeah, see, yeah. And I mean, she was in her 70s. She was, I've been doing this my whole life, and I was able to remove that. But it's just, they go your whole life. So let's just say you've gone through all of this, hell and back, literally. How do you, in your opinion, survive something like that? How do you take back your own, um, your own spiritual sovereignty, your own whatever it is that brings you out of it and brings you up out of that dark hole? How do you do that?
Well, are we speaking after the entity is gone?
Yeah. Yeah. How do you
Oh,
recover from that?
well, it's gonna take time. Time heals all wounds. Take
Mm,
time and cleanse cleanse your house, cleanse it,
mm.
and if
Lifestyle
you're
change.
yeah,
Yeah.
a total change of lifestyle, change your
Yeah.
lifestyle. I mean, it's because
Yeah.
because if you go through something like that and the entity finally leaves, I mean, setting yourself back in your old ways is just going to invite it back into your life, or it could invite a worse one in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Change your lifestyle. Change the energy within you
Mm-hmm.
that made you attracting the place.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Do you think
no,
you're an easy mark? Like if an entity has sort of marked you, a malevolent, whether it be human, I think you have a better chance of escaping that. It's like, okay, I got rid of this miserable spirit person. But if it's something that's much more aggressive or like a heavier entity of sorts, do you think it's like being marked? So if you don't change your lifestyle, that others just know? There's just something they just know that, oh yeah, this is the one Bob had, for instance. Remember what they
it could
did to Bob, we're just going to show them, right? Like
very well
that
could
sort of
be.
thing.
I mean,
Yeah.
very well could be. I mean, the whole generational curse thing is very real. I mean, it's
Mm,
some people have spoken of entities that have
mm,
crossed generations, centuries, of these people, and being afflicted, by
mm.
something, and
Yeah. Yes.
maybe it's just the energy within their family themselves, and they have to
Yeah.
make that lifestyle change. They have to do whatever it is that they can do, to get that off of them. It's
Hmm. So take back your power, lifestyle change, keep your space clear.
clearing.
I've always worked, when I've worked with people, I've tried to educate them on all of this stuff, and cater techniques and such that sort of jived with their own energy, their lifestyle, their belief system, and try to incorporate a lot of different ways to put them back in control. So I think it's important that people realize you are the one in control. Do you just give up your control to
Power's in your
something?
hand.
Yeah, right. Don't give it up to something that just would you give it up to a bully on the street? No, no. You just take back your power, and it really is simple, isn't it? It's really changing your mindset. It's really not that difficult. A
Yeah,
lot of
yeah.
people will
I mean,
say it's easier than you think.
you can cleanse your house. You can salt your threshold. You can salt your windowsills. You can
Mhm. Yeah.
you can do whatever you can, and to
Mhm.
keep it clean. But if you have the same mindset that you had before,
Mhm.
before you did everything, it's just to come back to you. It's
Mhm.
you got to change. The power comes from within, and you got to change what you have here before
Mhm.
you change what you have out here.
Mhm. So do you think it's when you're cleansing? Is it about the act of cleansing, what you're using, or is it about maybe the intention behind, the act and the power behind the words? Like, what do you do when you cleanse?
You got to have faith that what you're doing is going to work. You have
Yeah.
to believe in it. I mean, it's like magic. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like chanting a magic spell. I mean, you have to believe that the words that you're saying have power.
Mhm.
You have to have you have to have you have to believe that it's going to work. You have to have it in your heart that's going to work, and you have to have the intention and the emotion within you
Mhm.
that you can use to charge,
Mhm.
to charge that ritual, or that chant, or that
Mhm.
prayer, and that's going to work.
Mhm.
Because without
Yeah.
it, it's just words, and if you don't have any, if you don't have any faith
Mhm.
that what you're doing
Yeah.
is gonna help you,
Yeah.
it's just
I
like I said,
agree.
it's just words.
Yeah, I agree. I've enjoyed our conversation. It's definitely interesting. When it's something you spend my whole life really, having experiences and going on to helping others. And maybe that's a way that you take back your sovereignty, you take back control, is maybe, you learn a thing or two, and some people will write a book, other people will join a paranormal team, other people will go on to help other people. I think it's important. I've had a lot of people say, can you get me on one of these talking shows to tell my story, because they feel it's a way of helping other people. It's just by sharing in their experience.
Oh
This
yeah,
is what happened to us. This is what we did to get out of it. Therapeutic?
I absolutely. I mean, talking about an experience,
Yeah.
sharing it with others, yeah, is it therapeutic? Absolutely. Is it educational? Even more so. I
Yeah.
mean, you may have the answer that they're looking for, or maybe or maybe
Mhm.
you're talking about it with someone, and a commenter chimes in, and you're like, oh hey, I didn't think about that, and
Yeah.
that could be the
Or
answer you're
maybe
looking
you reached one person
for.
that is going through something, and you talk about something that they're like, wait a minute, this is what we're going through. Because not all hauntings are the same. And the dynamics change because we're not the same either.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
and like maybe I mean, maybe a piece of iron works for some people, because that being is ethereal, and putting that around their neck, is
Mm.
it makes them
Yeah.
unappealing, to it. But hey, maybe
Mhm.
someone else has a piece of quartz. I mean, quartz is a powerful absorber of energy, and
Indeed. Absolutely. And I wish I could get to everybody, but I could just see the different platforms. There's different things coming in, and I apologize. But we are at the end of the show. So, Jonathan, what do you have coming up? I know you're writing a book. You're writing another book.
yep, I am writing a book. It should be out mid October. It is dark gods, the angry dead, and spirits of the underworld. It's going to be out in mid
Wow.
October. It's
Wow.
yeah, it's been
Yeah.
quite a book to write. It's
I've been following your journey because you do post things on it, and it
I do.
definitely looks like it's going to be really interesting. And of course, Eric Werner, Dark Moon Press. Check out darkmoonpress.com,
Yep,
and you can find all of Jonathan's book there and a whole catalog of other amazing books as well. So
they have
big
an
shout out.
amazing they
Yeah.
have an amazing catalog.
Yep. And for everybody who is tuned in, thank you. For all of our listeners that are out there who are not able to watch, we know we have a really large audio listenership, so we thank you guys all for tuning in as well. Tomorrow night, we're going to do the flip side of tonight. We're having another open discussion. This time, Wayne Mallows comes in, and we're going to be looking at the lighter side of hauntings. Can we coexist with ghosts and spirits? For many, the answer is yes. Spectral roommates, how to peacefully coexist with spirit residents. So, we're going to talk about the benefits and downfalls, how they can be helpful, how to include them in day to day household decisions, if one so chooses. Yes, it's actually a thing. I've seen it happen. I've known many people who have, and they get along quite well with their spirit residents. So they can actually be very helpful. They're like your own built-in alarm system. So we're going to learn about that. We begin with looking beyond the stereotypical word of haunting, examine the importance of awareness, respect, and boundaries while putting aside all of the fear. So we hope you enjoyed tonight's show. And big thank you, of course, to Folgers Coffee. Thank you. Thank you. Big thank you to Steve McGinnis. Thank you to all of you. Thank you to Jonathan. It's always a lot of fun having you come on and converse with us all. Always loads of fun. And to everyone else, thank you in the chat room, our chat family. And much love. We'll see you tomorrow night. Good night.
Thank you for having me.
Pleasure.